A pregnant 200-pound cane corso refusing to leave a teenager's bedroom sounds like the setup for chaos. But in this house, it became the only reason a therapist, two terrified parents, and one girl named Lily got a second chance to rewrite a story that was heading somewhere very dark. Her name is Nova. 200 pounds of charcoal gray muscle, cropped ears, and eyes that looked older than any dog's eyes should. When the Klein family met her at a local rescue, she was already heavily pregnant and had the kind of intake file that makes most families walk away. Surrendered in late gestation, used for breeding, underweight. Too much dog for a family with a teenager, the volunteer warned gently, especially a teenager who's struggling. That teenager was Lily, 16 years old, once the loudest girl on her soccer team, now barely leaving her room. A brutal year of bullying, a friendship implosion, and a breakup had collapsed into something heavier: clinical depression. She had stopped answering messages, stopped eating regular meals, stopped caring about anything except the glow of her phone at 3 a.m. Her parents, Aaron and David, had done the right things: psychiatrist, medication, weekly therapy. But Lily's world had shrunk to 4 walls and a closed door at the end of the hallway. "We don't need a guard dog," Aaron told the volunteer. We thought maybe a dog would give her a reason to get out of bed." Across the room, Nova shifted her massive body in the kennel. She didn't bark. She didn't beg. She just watched Lily with a stillness that felt almost focused. Lily slid her fingers through the bars, barely above a whisper. "You look tired," she murmured. "Same." For the first time since she'd arrived at the rescue, Nova pushed her swollen body forward, pressing her huge head into Lily's hand. No jumping, no slobbery kisses. Just pressure, contact, as if she was saying, "I see you." Lily's shoulders dropped half an inch. Aaron saw it, the volunteer saw it. And in that quiet, fragile moment, a decision made itself. Nova came home that same weekend with a list of warnings. She was pregnant. She was enormous. Stairs would be hard, no roughhousing, no stress. "She needs calm," the vet said, "and she needs to feel safe." What no one realized was that Nova had her own ideas about who needed calm and safety. From the first night, Nova ignored the plush dog bed in the living room, the crate in the kitchen, even the quiet corner of the parents' room. She lumbered down the hallway, turned once in front of Lily's door, and lay down across the threshold like a living boulder. When Aaron gently nudged her to move, Nova lifted her head, looked at Lily's closed door, and dropped her chin back to the floor. "She'll settle," David said, "and it's just a new house." Except she didn't settle. She committed. When Lily cracked her door open to grab a glass of water, Nova stood up, moved just enough for her to pass, then repositioned herself the moment the door closed again. When Lily went to the bathroom at 2 a.m., Nova hauled her heavy, pregnant body up, shadowed her there, then trudged back and resettled across the doorway. She wasn't guarding the house. She wasn't patrolling windows or doors. She was stationed at one place and one place only: the entrance to a depressed teen's room. In the beginning, Lily hated it. "I can't even close my door without tripping over her," she snapped one evening. "It's like I'm being monitored." Aaron tried to keep it light. "She likes you. You're her person." "I didn't ask to be anyone's person," Lily muttered. But later that night, when she couldn't sleep and the thoughts in her head started circling darker and darker, she slid off her bed, pressed her back against Nova's warm side, and let herself breathe in time with the dog's slow, labored breathing. Nova stayed. Days turned into weeks. There were small changes first. Lily started opening her blinds in the morning so Nova could watch the street. She began talking. Not to her parents, not yet, but to Nova. Mumbled one-sided conversations about school, about friends who weren't really friends, about being tired of pretending to be okay. Nova answered with silence and weight, leaning her massive head into Lily's legs like an anchor. When Lily's therapist, Dr. Harper, suggested trying a home session because Lily kept canceling appointments, Aaron agreed immediately. "But we have a very large dog," she warned, "and she's intense." "I work with families, kids, and a lot of dogs," Dr. Harper laughed. "I'll be fine." She wasn't prepared. The moment Dr. Harper stepped into the hallway, Nova rose with a grunt and planted herself between the therapist and Lily's door, her belly low, her head level, her eyes calm but unblinking. Not a growl, not a snap, just immovable flesh and intention. "It's okay, girl," Aaron said, placing a hand on Nova's back. "She's here to help Lily."
After a long second, Nova shifted half a step to the side. Just enough for the therapist to pass. Just enough to make it clear that permission had been granted, not taken. Inside the room, Lily sat cross-legged on her bed, hoodie pulled over her head, sleeves tugged down to her knuckles. Nova didn't curl up at the foot of the bed or against the wall. She climbed slowly, carefully, half onto the mattress, and then arranged her body so her massive ribcage lay across Lily's shins, pinning her gently in place. "Does she always do that?" Dr. Harper asked softly. Lily shrugged. "She doesn't like me moving around much when we talk." Most clinicians would have smiled and moved on. But Dr. Harper had spent years working in adolescent psychiatry. She knew the signs of a kid who wanted to disappear. She knew the way eyes went flat when someone told you they were fine. And she knew another thing. Some dogs in these homes weren't just pets. They were early warning systems. Over the next 3 sessions, a pattern emerged. Whenever their conversation stayed on the surface, school attendance, homework, generic mood, Nova's breathing remained slow, eyes half closed, a giant, living weighted blanket across Lily's legs. But the moment Dr. Harper gently nudged toward something deeper, thoughts about not wanting to be here, anger at her own body, flashes of wanting everything to just stop, Nova's head would lift. Her eyes would sharpen. She'd adjust her position, pushing more of her weight down, sometimes pressing one enormous paw firmly across Lily's wrist as if to say, "Stay here." "Does she do that any other time?" Dr. Harper asked. "Only when my brain gets loud," Lily muttered. "How do you know it's loud?" Lily stared at the ceiling. "Because that's when I start thinking about exits." Nova exhaled, a low, guttural sound somewhere between a sigh and a warning. Her ears flicked. Her belly shifted, pups rolling under her skin. Dr. Harper watched the interaction, a knot forming in her stomach. At the end of that session, as Erin walked Dr. Harper to the door, Nova tried to follow. Then she stopped, turned back to Lily's room, and gave a sharp, frustrated huff. Her nails scraped once against the hardwood, like a dog wanting to dig. Except there was nothing to dig. "Has she been scratching anywhere else?" Dr. Harper asked casually. Erin frowned. "Outside Lily's door sometimes, and under her bed. We thought it was nesting, because of the puppies." Dr. Harper glanced back down the hallway at the closed door, at the silent, motionless bulk of Nova stretched across it again like a living barricade. The hairs on her arms rose. "I don't think she's nesting," the therapist said quietly. "I think she's trying to show you something." And what they found when they finally moved that bed would shock them all. After that 3rd home session, Dr. Harper didn't just go back to her office and write notes. She sat in her car, hands on the steering wheel, replaying every detail. The way Lily stiffened when certain topics came up, the way her sleeves never budged past her wrists, and the way Nova's entire body responded not to loud emotions, but to quiet, dangerous thoughts. She called Erin that evening. "I'd like to come back," she said. "Not for a session. Just to observe Nova for a few minutes while Lily's in her room." "Is something wrong?" Erin's voice tightened. "I don't want you to panic," Dr. Harper replied. "But I think your dog is telling us something we need to listen to." The next afternoon, they kept it simple. Lily stayed in her room, earbuds in, music playing softly. Erin sat at the kitchen table, twisting a mug between her hands. Dr. Harper stood halfway down the hall, notebook forgotten at her side, watching Nova. For 20 minutes, Nothing happened. Nova lay across the doorway as usual, her enormous pregnant belly rising and falling in slow waves. Then, from inside the room, a faint shift, the creak of bed springs, the muffled thump of feet hitting the floor. Nova's head snapped up. She pushed herself to her feet with a grunt, turned toward the door, and pawed it once. When Lily didn't open it, Nova pawed again, harder. Scrape! Scrape! She gave a short, sharp bark, not loud enough to be a full alarm, but urgent enough that Erin flinched. "She only barks like that when the mail carrier drops something heavy," Erin whispered. Dr. Harper stepped closer. "Lily," she called. "It's Dr. Harper. Can we come in for a second?" Silence. Then the softest reply. "I'm fine." Nova wasn't buying it. She threw her weight against the door. The wood shuddered. That was enough. Erin's hand shook as she twisted the knob. Lily was sitting on the floor, back against the bed, hoodie sleeves tugged to her knuckles again. Her face was too calm, too flat. One hand was hidden behind her leg. "Hey," Dr. Harper said gently, keeping her voice steady. "Can Nova come in?" Lily hesitated, then nodded once. Nova didn't walk. She surged. For a dog carrying a belly full of puppies, she moved with startling speed, wedging herself between Lily and the side of the bed. As she did, her paw landed, deliberately, heavily, on Lily's hidden hand. Lily winced. "Nova off," Lily murmured, trying to pull her hand away. Nova pressed down harder, her nails splaying on the floor. A metallic clink hit the hardwood. Erin saw it. A small, cold object glinting just beyond Nova's paw. A razor blade. Her stomach dropped. "Lily!" "It's not, I wasn't." Lily's voice cracked, but her eyes stayed dry. That was somehow worse. Dr. Harper didn't raise her voice. She didn't gasp. She just lowered herself to the floor, sitting cross-legged in front of Lily and Nova. "Thank you for putting your paw there, Nova," she said quietly. "That was very clear." Lily swallowed hard. "She never lets me. She always does that when my head gets loud." Her eyes flicked to the blade, then back to Nova, who was now pressing her entire body weight into Lily's lap, belly swollen, breathing fast. "Were you planning to tell anyone you had that?" Dr. Harper asked. Lily shook her head. "Have you been thinking about ending things?" The question was soft, but it didn't dodge the reality. For a long moment, the only sound in the room was Nova's breathing and the faint buzz of music still playing from Lily's forgotten earbuds. Then, barely audible, "Sometimes it feels like everyone would be better off if I wasn't here," Lily whispered. "But she won't let me move when I think like that. She lies on me. She blocks the door. Sometimes she scratches under the bed until I throw it away." Erin's eyes widened. "Throw what away?" Lily stared at her knees. "Pills. The ones I stopped taking but kept. Just in case." Erin covered her mouth with her hand. Nova's nose bumped Lily's chin, insistent, as if demanding eye contact. Dr. Harper reached out and placed a hand gently on Nova's back. "Okay," the therapist said, her voice steady. "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to clear this room of anything that could hurt you. Not because you're in trouble, but because your brain is fighting you, and it's not a fair fight when those things are within reach. And we are going to thank this dog for sounding the alarm." What followed wasn't dramatic in the Hollywood sense. There were no sirens, no frantic dash to the ER. Instead, it was quiet and methodical. Erin and David, with Dr. Harper's guidance, checked every corner of that room. Under the bed, inside the nightstand, between textbooks on the shelf. And every time they reached for a place Lily hesitated, Nova was there first, nose prodding, paw dragging something just far enough into the light to be noticed. A second blade. An old prescription bottle with 3 pills left. A notebook with pages filled with goodbye letters that Lily had never sent. At one point, David had to leave the room to catch his breath. He could hear Nova's nails clicking softly on the wood as she shuffled, back and forth, marking spots they'd missed. Not nesting. Not random. Not just a dog being weird. A map. Later that week, Dr. Harper sat with the family in her office. Nova lay at Lily's feet, her belly noticeably lower now, pups restless under her skin. "I've worked with a lot of families," Dr. Harper said, "and a lot of dogs. But I've never seen an animal so consistently intervene at the exact moments someone was at risk. She wasn't just comforting you, Lily. She was interrupting you." "Interrupting what?" Lily asked, though she already knew. "The plan," Dr. Harper said softly. "The rituals your brain was building. She lay on your legs so you couldn't get up easily. She blocked the door when your thoughts got loud. She scratched under the bed where you'd hidden things. She put her paw on the blade today. That's not coincidence. That's a living, breathing warning system." "Why her?" Lily whispered, fingers slipping into the fur at Nova's neck. "Why would a dog who's already pregnant and tired care that much?" Dr. Harper smiled sadly. "Maybe because she knows she's carrying life. Maybe because she was discarded and still showed up. Or maybe because some dogs don't just attach to a home. They attach to a mission." 2 weeks later, Nova went into labor in the middle of the night. Lily was the one who heard her first, restless pacing, soft whines from the hallway. For the first time in months, Lily threw her door open without hesitation and knelt on the floor beside her. "It's okay," she whispered, stroking Nova's head as Erin called the emergency vet. "I'm here. You're not alone. I promise I won't leave you." The birth was long and exhausting, but at the end of it, 6 tiny, squeaking puppies nestled against Nova's side, searching blindly for warmth and milk. Lily sat with them until the sun came up, tears streaking down her face, not from sadness this time, but from something she hadn't felt in a very long time, a sense that tomorrow might be worth seeing. Months later, the rhythm of the house had changed. Lily still did therapy. She still had hard days. Recovery is not a straight line. But there were differences you couldn't ignore. Her curtains stayed open now. Her sleeves pushed up more often. There was laughter, hesitant at first, then freer, whenever the puppies tumbled over each other in the yard. Through it all, Nova kept her post. She no longer fit across the entire doorway, not with puppies climbing over her like a living playground, but every night, once Lily climbed into bed, Nova did the same thing she'd done since the beginning. She settled herself so some part of her was touching Lily. A paw, a shoulder, the curve of her huge back against Lily's legs. "You found all my exits," Lily whispered to her one night, fingers buried in Nova's fur. "So I guess I'll have to stay and see what happens." Nova exhaled, deep and satisfied, eyes closing. Mission not over, just ongoing. When Dr. Harper tells this story at conferences now, she never dramatizes it with movie lines. She doesn't need to. She just shows a picture of a tiny teenage girl sitting on a bedroom floor, surrounded by a mountain of gray dog and a scatter of puppies, both of them looking at each other like 2 survivors who decided, somehow, to keep going. And she says this: "Sometimes we catch a crisis in time because a parent notices a change. Sometimes it's a teacher. Sometimes it's a friend. And sometimes it's a pregnant 200-pound cane CORSO who refuses to move from a doorway until the adults finally listen. So here's the question for you. Do you think dogs can sense emotional and even suicidal danger before it happens? Or are we just seeing what we want to see in their behavior? Drop your answer in the comments. And if Nova and Lily's story hit you in the chest even a little, share it with someone who loves big dogs, or someone who might need a reminder that sometimes the reason they're still here is quietly lying right at their feet.